And welcome back to the hottest marriage show in the world. It's I, John D. and
Kanika,
aka
Dude.
and Too Much Podcast. Rescripting the culture one conversation at a time. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How was your week?
It was okay. Yeah, yours?
Well, it was filled with new experiences as a teacher, but overall, I feel like it was productive. I was just thinking this morning. Remember I told you how I don't look forward to the end of the week?
Yeah.
Because I'm in the moment. When Saturday morning hits, I think like tomorrow's Sunday. I have to go to work on Monday.
No.
And I don't want that feeling. I know like during the week it's better because I get 5 days where I can just be in the moment. I feel like these weekends go by so fast. And yeah, that's what I was thinking about this morning. I was like, hey, I'll be lying. I said I was living in the moment. But when I get to the part where I want, I'd be thinking about the days already. And this was like at 4:45 in the morning. I was thinking about Sunday. Like, dang, that's tomorrow.
You can't be thinking about Sunday at 4:45 on Saturday. We ain't had none of Saturday yet.
Oh my gosh. I know. And I was like, dang, I gotta do better. Then I meditated.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like,
Go to sleep.
Yeah. But overall, it was cool.
Oh, okay. That's good. So right now we're in the senior year of our oldest child. So we're doing senior pictures, and we were riding on campus, and she was like, this could be me next year. And I'm like, yeah, it could be. But what it brought up to me was I saw 2 posts, completely different people, the same idea though. So one of the people, she said, think about your lifestyle, not before you think about your career. Like, let your career be based on your lifestyle. And another person had said, if your mom doesn't have money and you don't have any money, your degree need to give you some money. Like, regardless. One thing I learned when I was going in school, there were 2 teams. There was like, I came into a program that was really science-based, so everybody wanted to be doctors. But I eventually found my way into social sciences rather than natural sciences. And what I found is there's no money when you come out of social sciences generally. Like, when you come out, you must be going to get a grad degree or you're going to do whatever. You might end up teaching and you'll be at the bottom of the totem pole as far as pay because you're bachelor's level, da-da-da-da. And so it made me think about how to guide your children in the next steps of choosing majors, choosing careers, and not taking over their life and deciding for them. And so the one woman, when she said, you know, if your mama don't have money and you don't, then your degree need to be focused on money. And when I came out, my undergrad degree, we've talked about this before, was interdisciplinary studies. I wasn't going to do anything with that. It was health and psychology, and that wasn't going to help me make no money. Not that me growing up, it wasn't like we financially were in a place where I felt like we couldn't do what we needed to do, but my degree wasn't even really helping me live the life that my mom was giving me. Like, so when I think about it, initially I went in and I wanted to own a business, and that was probably going to get me where I wanted to go because I had a lot of mentorship in that area that I could work with. I just didn't utilize it. I really didn't. But I think about our kids and how they're choosing their life path. And really, my initial thought was, people would say, don't ask your kids what they want to be, ask them what problem they want to fix in the world. And I remember when I'm talking to Dallas, and he would talk about the way he wanted to structure buildings and make them sustainable and create, you know, smaller neighborhoods where people had kind of like where we lived overseas, where you had the grocery store right there and the, you know, laundry was nearby and all this other stuff. And I thought that was so great because I was like, you know, if he did this in areas that were kind of abandoned, it helped people to learn how to sustain their neighborhood because they work where they live and they play and all the other stuff. They used to say she wanted to be a teacher. I want to teach swim. I want to teach art therapy. I want to teach, but it was teaching. So now when I listen to them, what they want to be, it has potential to make money for them to live the life they want to live, but also they're not very materialistic. So it's not like they are going to be like, I want this high brand or that high brand. They're not going to be those people that I know of. So I'm just wondering about how much do you guide your kids to be something in particular. Not be something in particular, but go for the money. Because the idea of let your lifestyle drive your career, like they were saying, if you want to live a life of relaxation, even if you're good in sales, do you really want to be the person that somebody's talking to you about quotas all the time and staying with you on deadlines and stuff? Or do you want something more relaxed? If you want to travel a lot, do you really want to be in a position where you're owning your own business, and in the beginning you can't really, well, depending on how well your business goes, you may not ever be able to really step away? Because your uncle owned a restaurant. It was a great restaurant, but he ain't go nowhere. He was there all day long. So we're pushing. I know some people are like, still on that idea of you should be a doctor. You're good in science. You should be a doctor. You should be a lawyer because you're good at arguing. They still say that. How much should we really be pushing these kids? And in what direction? Or I felt better just letting them be whoever they wanted to be. But now I'm thinking about it and I'm like, they got to be able to sustain themselves. You can't just be whatever you want to be.
No, I do. I believe they can. Mike, you just got to be really good at it. So depending on how much effort you put into anything is going to determine what your pay is. If you're really good at the bottom and somebody's above you, they're going to recognize you and move you up. But whatever you do, you put your effort in. Like if you became a teacher and you really put work into your craft, like you just got better and better, a principal's going to recognize that. Somebody in the district, they're going to put you in a position. I think that college kind of expedited the experience aspect that you need to improve the craft. You go to college to learn the theory and practice of it all, but to actually do it, to practice it, like that's when the experience starts. And I think that when you're in college, if somebody hires you, it's because they think that you've invested that much, I can bring you on. Like, is there people that don't have to go to college that can do really well? It is, but it's not that many. I mean, because it's so difficult to create a routine where you could become that valuable to somebody notice you. And college kind of helps you say, hey, I'm willing to put this effort in. But most people that I've recognized, anything, like their pay goes by a lot of how much work they actually put into their job. Like I'll say the degree helped out to propel them, but overall, they really worked over the course of years to get where they got. The people who aren't happy, they never worked harder. They got comfortable. It was like, well, I'm making this money and I get a raise. I'm good. I don't got to do anything else. I figured this program out and I'm good. So if you look at it like that, those people right there, they're now here. Like if you think that they're not sustainable, like our kids are not materialistic. So to me, it's less of an idea they have to make so much money. So it's more time for them to make their craft really good, where if they ever want money at some point, it'll be like, dang, I don't have to just keep working at this level. Like if you really love what you do, this is what I'm saying. If you could really love what you do, are you doing it to get better or is it just passing time? So, but if you're doing it to get better, I think it'll eventually catch up. That's the 10,000 hour thing, whatever it is. It's like you keep working and working. And then once you break the ceiling, it's like, oh my God, I did all that work. And then it's even more. You get more than what you put in. But people don't know that part. So hopefully the things that we give our kids, we let them know like, hey, if you haven't gotten what you want, it's because you haven't worked hard enough. So even as a teacher, I look back, when I came out, I was making $30,000. I was like, I was rich. I couldn't believe that I was making that much money. And I was like, why people be acting like 30,000 ain't a lot? And then I realized the lifestyle I was living. And then like you got good credit. So you think that you can live a lifestyle that you can't really live. And then, okay, teaching, you shouldn't be wearing those brands. You shouldn't be doing this so often. You should be learning how to save, work on your craft. Cause that's what I'm learning now. Like I'm this age now and I'm like working. I could see if I had this mindset when I first started, there's no way we would be right here today. You would be at least for me, my professional career would be totally different. But I didn't know that part. So hopefully we can teach them no matter what you do. Just like I told you, remember I said, if you had to start all over again and you had to work at a fast food restaurant, do you think you could move up? And he was like, yeah. It's all about pride and ego. Like, do you want to start at that level? And like, cause you're like, I know I could do way better than this. But if you put that work in and you come to work every day on time, you like speak well, you don't get upset, you can diffuse like problems. So I like, want me to be running a restaurant or something. It's like, it's just a climb or whatnot, because we know what it takes to get there. It's just like, we don't have to do all that work though, because we're here. Like, you could get here, but it's like, I'm right here. Why I need to go back down here?
You know, it's interesting you say that, because when I started in my different positions, I did not aspire to go over my position, like to move up. I know that I always say, you know, if you have someone who's really ambitious as a partner, it helps to have somebody who's not like super ambitious as well. Sometimes if you are pursuing what you want, leads to not being together, like, you know, drawing each other in different directions or whatever. So John has always been like, what's the next step? What's the next step?
I was like that because I was looking financially. I wanted to provide for my family so we could travel and do these things. So that's the only reason why. It wasn't to master anything where I could like get these things. It was like I wanted to make sure my family had the things that could propel us in a different direction.
Yeah, I was always looking for, what can I do that I like, that's not stressing me out, and that pays me well. And if I can find that, then I'm good. So when I was working as a teacher, it was cool. I didn't mind it. And to think of how much money I made then versus now, I'm like, wow, you know, it's like you said, we were young. So it was like, oh, this is a lot of money. And then when I went into nursing, I was like, oh, this is way more money than what I was making before. But I was working nights, so I wasn't seeing you. I wasn't seeing the kids as much as I wanted to. So I switched over to working days, and I really liked that job. I really enjoyed it. I was good at it. And I remember there was a lot of conflict in my workplace between certain people. And I remember one day they went to screaming at each other so loud that you could hear it in the front office and all the patients could hear it. And so I heard it, and I go in there, and then I start to diffuse the situation. And then I got everybody to calm down. We talked about what the real issue was, resolved it or whatever. A couple weeks later, they're like, hey, so we were thinking an associate manager in the surgical suite or whatever, would you want that? And I was like, oh, no, thank you. And then they were like, but you handle matters so well. Like
conflict resolution.
Yeah, my manager, she couldn't calm them down. And it was like, it just kept getting louder and louder. And when I came in, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, you know, and she was like, we need that. If you can do that, you know, because there are other things that I knew what I was doing and can you please? And I was like, I'm not interested in that. I like to just do my thing and be able to leave. And I don't want people to depend on me. I like to work on my own. So even when we left and came back, I started working as a consultant, and positions would come up, and you could see within my program that they try to move people from within the system first. They don't try to outwardly hire, externally hire, when we're talking about promotions. And so I'm looking at programs, and in my particular program, I'm like, my director keeps saying, okay, I'm going to get us to this next grant, and then it's about time for me to go. And so people are like, Kanika, I was like, I don't want that. And then I was like, hey, but this person looks like they're good for it. This person looks like they're good for it. I think that they just saw it as she was in my position before she went to that one. So then they're like, oh, Kanika hears everything she sees. So I was like, I'm not interested in that type of stuff. I am one of those people that if you give me a job that I like to do, and I feel like I'm making a difference for somebody and I'm paid well, I look for the least stressful position possible. And I guess I look at moving from position to position or being promoted. I see that as stressful, especially when you start to have to oversee other people. So even if I understand conflict resolution and how to manage it, I don't even like the feeling of people depending on me to have to get something done or whatever the case may be. So when you used to be like, you know, I'm about to do this next, I'm about to do that next, I'm like, okay.
Well, this is the thing I want you to consider. if you don't have a husband like me or a husband that's willing to try to increase the pay, we can't live the lifestyle that we've lived in the past. And even the things that we want to do. A teacher and a nurse can't do this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So the things like even just with the house, like it's only credit because we don't like we know how much money we make. We don't make that much more where we can
buy a house off.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. So like when you're going to college, you was like, you should think about the money you're making, like depending on your lifestyle. You can get there if you put the work in. Like the experience that you got allowed people to think like, dang, she's got conflict resolution skills. Like, I wanted to ask, did you get that through the years or did you have that when you graduated college?
I think one, it's always been my personality too. I don't like conflict. I don't like to fight, none of that stuff. I don't like arguing. So I'm always trying to find a way to not do it. When I was younger, some people may not say that. They say I was a little rowdy, but I really didn't like to argue with people. But I also, in social work, conflict resolution is something that you have to learn and, to counsel others. So some of the things that I would utilize is definitely because of school, but me wanting to be able to do it. And I think my ability to do it was also a natural thing that like I knew how to calm people down, although it was very difficult for others to calm me down if things escalated with me. But, I never have a problem lending myself to things that aren't my job in order to make things better for other people. I just don't want the everyday expectation that that's going to be my job.
Oh, yeah. I get it.
So, yeah, like if people...
Break in case emergency, that's when you come get me.
Yeah, like, please. Yeah, that's me. Like, if you need me, come through and be like, Kanika, da-da-da. But don't tell me, like, you do so well with this. So why don't we put you here? And I'm like, don't put me here. But see, that's
typically a reward for people.
Yeah. But when you were talking and you said, you're just going to end up here. It's kind of like the question, and we can answer this in regards to relationships on another day, but even in your career, it's the question of, is it that you can't do it or you're not willing to do it? Mm-hmm. And it's not that I can't do those things. It's that I'm not willing to do it because to me, that means trading off part of the lifestyle I want to live versus my career. And I'm not willing to give up the ease of my day-to-day life for that. So the career, it pays me well as far as I'm concerned, and it continues to pay me well to do the things that I'm good at. And I'm not willing to go up higher because it's not going to allow for me to live as free and as stress-free as I do.
For sure. So, but you say that kids should try to find a job to complement the lifestyle that they want to live, but they don't know if they want to live that style.
I know. But, when I think about Day does not want somebody talking to her about deadlines. She wants to be more free. Now, Day can meet every deadline. The girl is very diligent. Her work is A1, but she likes to float around. I think the same with Dallas. Dallas doesn't have a problem with deadlines, but Dallas is not going to be somebody that can be micromanaged. Like, don't come over him and gripe at him about everything. That's not the life he wants. He wants to be able to do things in the order and the way that he wants to. And in a way, you could say, I remember when my older brother was not meant to be somebody's employee. My older brother, and not in a way where he's a bad employee. He was always stellar at being someone's employee, but he likes to run his own stuff. He's much like Dallas, is just like him. He'll get it done. It'll be done right. But he is not meant for somebody to be hovering over him somewhere.
But he didn't get to that until years later. That's what I'm saying. Like at young age, you have to go through being, like you said, Dallas, he needs to be micromanaged to know what it looks like.
Yes. And he did. Kari did a lot of different things.
No, I get it. I'm just saying as far as our kids being at the age that they are, you said he shouldn't want to do this because he needs to know, like he has to be micromanaged to, like, he don't know that yet. Like,
you don't know what micromanagement is to know that you don't like it.
And not only that, like, that person can still give him something. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like whatever they don't think they want, they don't know yet because they haven't done it enough. It's just one of those things like, I don't think I would like that. You haven't done anything to really think you can feel that way. You can say like that's something you wouldn't be interested in, but that could be your favorite thing. If somebody was like, you got to do it this way, you're like, oh, okay. So sometimes you need guidance to say so you can see it a different way.
So then that leads me to the question of what's supposed to come first, work or college?
It doesn't matter as long as you put in the effort. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm saying, I know plenty of people that they got a degree and they don't work in it.
I know because they didn't have enough information before.
Right. But if we're talking about it from this perspective, them being able to choose the degree in the area that they want to go into, how are they going to know?
Well, we're just hoping.
Yeah, you can't go from the standpoint of, I'm going to choose a career that fits my lifestyle. Well, I guess you could. You could do the things that you want to do. And then within your degree program, then what you can do in that career path, it just depends on the lifestyle you want to live. I guess I was thinking when you were like, you don't know if you like to be micromanaged. I ain't know nothing about micromanagement until I got into life and was starting to work and stuff. So you're right. They can't really define what lifestyle.
And there's different levels of micromanaging too.
It is.
Yeah,
I know. So I guess, that always leads me with that always has me questioning when people talk about a gap year before they go into college and whether or not it's beneficial. I don't know.
Yeah, I think anything could be beneficial depending on their leadership, who's guiding them, their exposure and different ways to look at things. But like they kids, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's the correct order, but I do know that college is not cheap.
It's not. That's always the thing for me, though, is that it's not cheap. So when you do it.
I'm about to say, I just hope the investment is worth it because we're in a better position to look at it like, okay, that's why I said, like, they're going into something they feel like they want to, not for the money or whatever. Yeah. It's their interest. And in my perspective, just put the right effort in and you'll be rewarded. No matter what it is, I think you'll be rewarded. So we just don't want their degrees to look like our degrees.
Right. Hey, the minute they start talking to me about I'm going to be on them. Like, okay, let's talk about the career path options for this degree. Because no one said that to me.
Oh, yeah.
When I said I'm changing my major to this, nobody said, okay, yeah. The counselors were like, yeah, sure, go ahead. We're going to change it. Nobody said, but what are you going to do after this? Because this isn't going to be the end. Nobody said that. What is the point? No. Anyway.
Well, I think that those counselors, they probably should have had conversations with people that left the program.
Yeah. I feel like
graduated with the program, but left it as far as it didn't. Because then they would be able to say, hey, what are you going to do after? Or what do you want to do after?
Yeah.
You know, if these are your options. I don't think those counselors are not trying to fail the students. They just have no idea to ask those questions we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
At least I think that's the case.
Well, back 20-some years ago, they didn't.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 25 years ago, nobody was saying this stuff to me. And so here I am. I found what I love to do. It wasn't what I thought, though. I thought I was going to feel like I was finding my purpose.
And that's coming. It's coming.
But I didn't find my purpose in my career. I didn't find my purpose
I don't believe
in my career program.
Oh, you've been helping people your whole life.
Yeah, I have.
So you have no idea what that group of experiences are going to develop later, but you've been helping people. So you can't say you haven't found your purpose. You just don't know the specific job in your purpose, but it's dealing with people for sure.
Oh, but this man will continue to tell you I'm not a people person.
She's below me. Anyway.
I'm not. Anyway.
Anybody you want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to everybody who decided to dedicate their life to helping people.
Oh.
Because that purpose right there, it takes a different type of patience, tolerance. It just takes a different type of mindset to help people, even though you're still trying to figure life out yourself, to give the best advice or give them the best information so they can succeed. It can be tough and overwhelming, especially when you see so many different stories, and you don't have a therapist or to unlayer or unpack what other people are going through. Sometimes you can put them before your own self. And I want to give a shout out to y'all because it takes a different type of person to be able to deal with so many different people, whether they're a people person or not.
True.
Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA, get after that action or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose.
Boom.